So dear students, welcome to the science class. So in the last class we completed the topic named some natural phenomena, in which we discussed about the lightning, we discussed about some charges, and we discussed about the earthquake, how does the earthquake happen, as well as we discussed about the Richter scale as well as seismograph. So in today's class we are going to discuss about the exercise questions which is going to come in this topic, that is nothing but some natural phenomena. So let us consider the first question here. Select the correct option in given. Select the correct option in question number 1 and 2. So the first question here: which of the following cannot be charged easily by friction? Option A, a plastic scale. Option B, a copper rod. Option C, an inflated balloon. Option D, a woolen cloth. If you see here, everything is the insulator except copper rod. So the copper rod is the correct option here. So the copper rod can't be charged easily by the friction, that is nothing but by rubbing. Why? See here, insulators. Insulator doesn't require any charge. Right, it doesn't conduct any electricity. But what will happen when you rub it? It is going to give the charge to the another particle, or it is going to acquire charge to itself. So it will be easy one. But in the conductor case, they require more amount of charge to transmit that charge from one point to the another point. Right, if you take the conductors, if you take the copper wire, we are going to directly supply the electricity by the cell or by a main supply. But in case of these things, that is nothing but insulators, they require less amount of charge. So while what we do, if we rub that things, they are easily going to acquire the charge. But in case of the copper wire or copper rod, they require more amount of charge. For that reason, when we rub it, the sufficient charge is not supplied to the copper rod. They are not getting the sufficient amount of charge. For that reason, it is not possible. It is not easy to the charging the copper rod by the friction. So what required here for charging the copper rod? They required a cell or a battery. So the correct option here is option number B. So second question here, take the second question. When a glass rod is rubbed with a piece of silk cloth, the rod is, and the cloth acquires positive charge, becomes positively charged while cloth has the negative charge. Option C, and the cloth both acquire negative charge. Option D, becomes negatively charged with the cloth as the positive charge. So remember one thing, when we rub something with another thing, one will going to get a positive charge, another is going to get a negative charge. See here, when a glass rod is rubbed with a piece of the silk cloth, the rod is going to get positively charged. The rod is going to get the positively charged. If you remember, for the convection, the glass rod is getting the positively charged. We seen in this topic only. So if the glass rod is becoming positively charged, while cloth has the negative charge, is the correct option. Why? When you take the glass rod towards the positively charged, when you take the glass rod towards the piece of the silk, those things are going to attract each other. Because of that, if the glass rod is getting the positively charged, then the piece of the silk is going to get negatively charged. Another thing here, remember, whenever something is rubbed on another thing, whatever the rubbed thing is there now, if you take the glass rod here, glass rod is acquiring the positive charge. So the piece of the silk is rubbing by the glass rod. In the same manner, the piece of the silk which is acquired the charge, that acquirement of the charge is nothing but it is acquiring the charge from the rod. So that charge is nothing but a negative charge. So it is nothing but electrons. So electrons are the negatively charged particles. Those are acquired by the piece of the silk. Because of that, piece of the silk is becoming negatively charged, where the rod is becoming positively charged. So the correct option here is option number B. Option number B. Right, that is nothing but when a glass rod is rubbed with a piece of the silk cloth, the rod becomes positively charged while the cloth has the negative charge, while the cloth has the negative charge. So next, question number 3. Question number 3. Write A for the true and F for the false. So they are given the 4 statements. In those 4 statements, we have to identify the which statement is true and which statement is false. So let us take the first statement here. Like charges attract each other. So this statement is completely false. We know that like charges are going to repel each other, whereas unlike charges are going to attract each other. So positive charge repel each other, negative charge repel each other, positive charge attract each other, and negative charge attract each other. So the first statement is completely false. Second statement: a charged glass rod attracts a charged plastic straw. A charged glass rod attracts a charged plastic straw. So this statement is true. Since we know that charged glass rod contains positive charge and a charged plastic straw contains the negative charge, we already know that positive and negative charge attract each other. In the same manner, a charged glass rod attracts a charged plastic straw. So this statement is also true. For that we have done an activity. We have done an activity in your textbook. There is an activity. So then the glass rod when rubbed, it is going to get acquire the positive charge, and the plastic straw is going to acquire negative charge. So the unlike charges are going to attract each other. When the unlike charges attract each other, that means the glass rod is also going to attract the plastic straw. So the question number C. Lightning conductors cannot protect a building from lightning. A lightning conductors cannot protect a building from the lightning. So this statement is also false. Why? Why does we are using the lightning conductors in a building? So that the building should be protected from that lightning. So what will happen when the lightning strikes the building, lightning strikes the lightning conductor, whatever the charge which is discharged from the lightning is directly going to the earth by the lightning conductor in the earth where the copper plate is made. So the direct transmission of the charge from that conductor to earth is happening. So there is no damage is going to happen to that building. So lightning is not striking the building only. It is striking only the lightning conductor. So that lightning conductors protect a building from the lightning. So this statement is completely false. So next statement, statement number D. Earthquakes can be predicted in advance. Earthquake can be predicted in advance. So this statement is also completely false. Since we can't predict the earthquake, when, where, how the earthquake is going to happen. So it is not possible to predict the earthquake, but we can say that in which area earthquake is going to happen oftenly, so that in the where the two plates are joining at the boundaries of the plates, there those zones are known as seismic zones. There the amount of the earthquake happening is more. So we can say that in that area the earthquake will be more, but we can't predict at what time, at what day it is going to happen. So it is not possible to predict the earthquake. So this statement is completely wrong. We can't predict the earthquake, but we can predict the lightning. We can predict the lightning, when the lightning is going to occur. When the thunderstorm starts, when we hear the sound, then we can say that lightning is going to come. So it is not possible to predict the earthquake. So next question number 4 now. Sometimes a cracking sound is heard while taking off the sweater during the winter. Explain. Sometimes a cracking sound is heard while taking off the sweater during the winters. Explain. You have explained this thing. In the winter season, when we take off our sweaters, there will be the cracking sound is going to come. We are going to hear the cracking sound of that sweater, as well as when you take off your t-shirts also. Some t-shirts which are made from the different materials. While taking off those t-shirts which are knitted one, not the plain or knitted one, when you take out those t-shirts as well as sweaters, what will happen? You are going to hear a cracking sound. In the same manner, if you take the new t-shirt and put it on your body and take it off, while taking it off, there will be cracking sound is going to be heard. So why does that cracking sound is coming? We already know that cracking sound is produced because of the charges. When two charges interact, because of those charges interaction, there will there will be a flash or there will be a sparkle is going to happen. Because of that sparkle, there will be production of this sound. Because of that flashing, there will be production of this sound. So if you see here, when taking up the cloth or sweater, what will happen? Sweater, due to the rubbing of our body or due to the rubbing of our hairs, due to it is going to come in the interaction with our body. So when it comes in the interaction with our body, it is going to acquire some charges. So because of the charge, those charges are going to interact. Because of those interaction of those charges, there will be production of the sound. There will be production of the cracking sound. So it is because of the acquirement of the charge by the sweater by taking it off when it comes in the contact with the body. So it is going to acquire the charge. Because of that charge, those charges interact. Because of the interaction of those charges, there will be cracking sound is going to be produced when taking of those cloths. So this is about the question number 4. So next we are going to see some more questions. Now let us consider the question number 5. Explain why charged body loses its charge if it touches with our hand. Explain why charged body loses its charge if it touches with our hand. So let us consider a charged body here like this. Let this be the balloon, which is suspended and which is charged here. How it is charged? It is charged by the rubbing. So what will happen? We, as the person standing on the ground, so we know that this balloon is charged. So when you touch that balloon, it is becoming uncharged. It is becoming uncharged. That means it is losing its charge. So the charge is discharging here. So why it is happening? Since we as human beings are the good conductors of the electric current. We are the good conductor of the electric current. In that sense, we are the good conductor of electric charge. We are good conductor of electric charge. So we are a good conductor of the electric charge. If it has the charged particles, what will happen? That charge is going to carry to us. Since we are also good conductor of the electricity, so whatever the charge is present on the balloon, that is nothing but an object, that is nothing but a charged particle, it is going to carry to the human being. So where we are standing here, we are standing on the ground. So that whatever the electric charge is coming to us, it is going to transfer to the ground. It is transferring to the ground via us. Because of that thing, charged body loses its charge when we touch with our hand. So the charge which is present on the charged body is carried by us, that is nothing but human being, to the ground. So it is discharging, and this process is known as earthing, if you know that. This process of the movement of the charge from charged body to the earth is nothing but what? Earthing. So how it is done? By using a good conductor of electricity. Since we are also good conductor of electricity, it is transferring from what? From this body to that body. Now if you remember in your home, while touching of the wire while doing the electrical work, they suggest that you should wear the plastic chappals or plastic floaters. Why? Since plastic is a bad conductor of electricity, that is nothing but it is an insulator. So what it is going to do when we wear the chappals, plastic chappals, what it is going to do that there will be no connection between the earth as well as us. If you remove these chappals or shoes, there is direct connection between the earth and the us. So when we wear the chappal, what is happening there? It is opening it is becoming open circuit. The path of the charge is not closed one, it is open one. For that reason, when we wear the chappals here, what will happen? There is no connection between the us and the earth. If there is no connection between us and the earth, whatever the charge which is present is not going to transfer from us to the earth. Right? In the same manner, if we take a conductor or electricity, when we touch the electricity also when we wear the chappals, the small amount of electricity, one day not high amount, very minute quantity. When we touch that thing, it is not going to carry towards us. Since we are wearing the chappals and the movement of the charge is not towards the ground. If it doesn't wear the chappals, the circuit will become what? It is closed one, and the charge is going to carry from the charge particles towards us, and from us to the ground. So in this manner, whatever the charge body is there, it is discharging its charge via human beings to the earth. For that reason, it is going to lose the charge. So here we have just write that human beings are good conductor of the electricity. When human being touch the charged particles, that charge is going to carry by the human being towards the ground or towards the earth. Because of that thing, it is losing its charge. It's just an explanation, elaborated explanation of that question. Right. Now next, question number 6. Name scale on which the destructive energy of earthquake measured, and earthquake measures 3 on this scale. Would it be recorded by the seismograph? Is it likely to give much damage? In this question, in question number 6, there are given these 3 sub questions. So first question is, name the scale on which the destructive energy of an earthquake is measured. If you remember, that scale is nothing but what? That scale is known as Richter scale. That scale is known as what? Richter scale. Right. So an earthquake measures on this scale. Would it recorded by the seismograph? In this scale, on this scale, there is nothing but on the Richter scale, the magnitude of the earthquake reads as 3. So is it possible that that magnitude of earthquake is going to be recorded by the seismograph? Is it possible that the magnitude an earthquake having the 3 magnitude is going to be recorded by the seismograph? Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. So that this earthquake is going to be recorded by the seismograph. Why it is going to be recorded by the seismograph? If you remember the last class, any vibrations on the body is going to be recorded by the seismograph due to the motion. So, but that motion or by that recording will be not that much high, it will be smaller one, but it is going to record. It is like if you see in the cricket, if you see this Nico. Now, if some person of some batsman or bowler review for the catch, review for the caught behind, when you check it, when the ball passes the bat, sometimes it doesn't show anything. So the ball doesn't touch the bat. But sometimes what happens, a minute touch, very very minute touch to the bat, there is the graphical representation in this Nico, it is going to show. In the same manner, the minute touch changing the direction or changing the vibrations of the ball, in the same manner, small vibrations on the ground, that small vibrations are going to be recorded by the seismograph. So that this recordation, whatever the magnitude, the 3 magnitude, earthquake having the 3 magnitude is going to be recorded by the seismograph. So next, it is recorded next. Is it likely to give much damage? No, it is not going to give much damage, since we know that damaging earthquakes has the magnitude of more than 7.5 or more than 7. So if the magnitude of the earthquake is 7, then we can say that it is going to give much more damage. If the magnitude of the earthquake is less than 7, then we can say it is not much damaging. So if the given magnitude of the earthquake is equal to 3, then it is not much damaging. Right. Now next, question number 7. Suggest 3 measures to protect ourselves from the lightning. So first measure will be what? We are going to hear the sound of the thunderstorm. When we hear the sound of the thunderstorm, we can identify that a lightning is going to occur. It is going to come. So that while hearing the sound of the thunderstorm, what we have to do? We have to go for a safe place. That is nothing but we are going to go for the shelters. It may be home or it may be a building, anything. So it should contain a shelter. So we have to identify this. We have to search for a safe place, and we are going to go for the safe place when we hear the sound of the thunderstorm. This will be the first protective measure. And second protective measure, if you are present in the open area, that is nothing but in a forested area or an open area, what you have to do, we have to search for the open space there. If there is no building is present, if there is no house is present, there is no shelter is present, don't sit or don't go behind the trees or don't go behind the poles. Why? Trees and the poles are major targets for the lightning. They are major targets for the lightning. If you go there, along with the trees and the poles, you are also going to become the major targets. So for that reason, go in the open space. In that open space, go in the squat position. In that squat position, put your hands across the legs and put your head inside the hands as well as the that legs, so that you are going to become very small target for the lightning, and there is the possibility that you are not going to struck by the lightning. For that reason, in open space we are going to go in this squat position. So what is the purpose here? We should have the minimum target for that lightning. In the same way, if you want to take the third precaution measure is nothing but while traveling in the bus or car, you should close the windows of the bus and car and should stay in that bus and car only. So there will be no opening of the windows, and the windows should be closed on. Right? It should be third precautionary measure. In the same way, if you are in home, then you shouldn't touch the wires which are present there, and you should unplug all the plugs which are kept, like the plugs which are inserted for the TVs and electrical equipment. They should be unplugged so that they shouldn't be damaged. In the same manner, if the phone is corded or if the phone is wired one, so then you shouldn't call the person, or you shouldn't call if the phone is corded or if the phone is wired. So there is the chances of that the lighting which is going to struck is going to carry by that wire to you, so that it can be prevented by not using the phone. In the same manner, you should don't bath while the lightning is happening. So these are some precautionary measures we can take to protect ourselves from the lightning. Now next, 8th question. Explain why charged balloon is repelled by another charged balloon, whereas uncharged balloon is attracted by another charged balloon. So see here, we know that. Explain why charged balloon is repelled by another charged balloon. If you see here, charged balloon, how the balloon is getting charged by the rubbing, so that whatever the charge is acquired by the first balloon and whatever the charge acquired by the second balloon will be same only by the rubbing only, so that both the charges are same. We already know that same charges are going to repel each other. Because of that thing, a charged balloon is going to repel another charged balloon, since both are having the same charges, and the same charges, that is nothing but light charges, are going to repel each other. Right? In the same way, if you check a uncharged balloon is going to attract by the another charged balloon. An uncharged balloon is going to attract by the another charged balloon. Why it is happening? If you see here, an charged balloon. Let us see the charged balloon and this is the uncharged balloon. So this charged balloon is going to give, or it is going to transfer its charge from this to this. Since it is uncharged and this is charged, uncharged balloon, what it is going to do? It is going to acquire the charge which is present in this charged balloon. Because of that thing, they are going to become closer to each other. When they become closer to each other, they are going to transfer the charge. Because of that thing, both the balloons are attracting towards each other. Each other. So this is the question number 8 and answer for that question. So in the next class, we are going to discuss about the remaining questions. Up to that point, thank you, take care, stay well, stay home.